This is a dark fairy tale. The plot will subvert everyone's original understanding of fairy tales. This is a story about three women. Their codenames are Cat, Donkey, and Dog respectively. Cat was kicked out by the madam because she refused to sell her body. Donkey became a wanderer due to her involvement in fights, while Dog is a righteous police officer. It is a Western world where gangs reign. Local police not only do not eradicate them, but they hope the gangs grow bigger for their own benefits. However, in any group, there are always some just individuals. With her own strength, Dog successfully eliminated 3 gangs. Her style is always elusive, and her character is very brave and fierce. Hence, the gang members fear her greatly and call her Mad Dog. Yet, her sense of justice did not gain recognition from her colleagues. The police chief, under immense pressure because of her, ripped off Dog's badge and demanded her gun before asking her to leave immediately. That's how Dog began her wandering. During her journey, she met the strong Donkey and the seductive Cat. The 3 homeless individuals then started traveling together. After an unknown length of time, they arrived at Bremen town. There, they saw a girl huddled in a corner. Dog was very curious why such a young girl would appear here and dressed so lightly, so Dog asked her if there were any restaurants or places nearby. After some hesitation, the girl pointed out the restaurant's location, but she warned them not to go, because it was the territory of Sean's brothers. They were a gang of criminals, specializing in kidnapping, robbery, murder, and human trafficking, and the girl was sent by Sean to keep watch. If they insisted on going, she could only inform them. Dog was very grateful for the girl's kindness, but they still went to the restaurant without hesitation. As they left, the girl noticed the new sheriff heading towards the restaurant, so she hurriedly informed Roger, the gang's second-in-command. But Roger paid no heed to the new sheriff, while Dan, on the side, shot off his ear. Thus, the sheriff, who had intended to show Sean's gang who was boss, had to flee in haste. At this moment, Dog and his 2 companions arrived. The owner advised them to leave quickly, but the alluring Cat had already caught the attention of the gang's third-in-command, Tim. He wanted to have some fun with Cat, but she made it clear she preferred strong men, just as Tim thought she was complimenting his physique. Donkey interrupted them. Seeing the bold and strong woman's demeanor, Tim decided to teach her a lesson, but Donkey did not flinch. She simply threw a light punch, sending Tim flying. Cat mentioned that if he was stronger than Donkey, she might consider having some fun with him, but now Tim had missed his chance. Roger, looking at the short-haired woman before him, suddenly remembered her as the legendary Mad Dog. Yet Roger remained unfazed. As they were only 3, he immediately shot at Mad Dog. But in the next moment, Mad Dog's knife had already pierced his body, and so, Dog took out Sean's gang's second-in-command. The sight shocked the other gang members. They quickly carried Roger's body and fled. The owners breathed a sigh of relief, and thanked them for driving away Sean's gang. But they advised them to leave quickly, lest Sean's gang return for revenge. And at this moment, the girl they had encountered before walked numbly on the street. It turned out she used to be a wealthy man's daughter. Later she was kidnapped by Roger. Roger used her to threaten the wealthy man for ransom, but the money-loving wealthy man decisively abandoned his daughter. Upon learning the truth, the girl collapsed, but Roger made her become a member of the gang. Since then, the girl gradually got used to this kind of life, and even considered this gang as her family, just as she was immersed in memories. Dog interrupted her thoughts. She asked the girl where she wanted to go. The girl said she had lost her only shelter, and didn't know where to go. Dog felt that the girl was similar to them, both homeless and pitiful, so she told the girl she would build a home for them. By then, the girl must stay and join them. On the other side, Tim told the gang leader Sean what had just happened. Upon learning that Dog was the one who killed his brother, Sean immediately gathered his men to seek revenge on Dog. At this moment, Dog and the others returned to the restaurant. She told the shop owner they couldn't leave. If Sean and his men came here and didn't find Dog, they would kill the people here to vent their anger. Meanwhile, Sean led a large group over. They then shot and shattered the restaurant's door, and strode in aggressively. But just as they entered the door, a barrel filled with gasoline plummeted from above towards them, igniting a fire that swiftly killed several gang members. In the midst of the distraction, a whip suddenly ensnared one gang member by the neck. Cat then seized the whip and leapt from above, hanging the man alive. As other gang members approached, they were struck by thrown darts, causing the rest to flee in fear. Donkey, lying in wait outside, was ready to ambush. Meanwhile, Dog, hidden in the shadows, seized the opportunity to lunge at Sean with a knife. However, Sean effortlessly dodged her attack and kicked her aside. He then tossed a gun to the girl, promising her a high-ranking position in the gang if she could kill the dog, even offering to adopt her as his sister. For a girl like her, abandoned by society, Sean's offer was tempting. Simultaneously, on the other side, Tim confronted the robust Donkey, convinced that with a long enough weapon, he could overpower her. Yet, in the moment he charged forward, Donkey swiftly ended his life with a heavy hammer blow. Cat, seizing the opportunity, entwined her whip around Dan's arm and electrocuted her. Meanwhile, the girl did not believe Sean's words and joined forces with Dog to launch an attack against him. Gas leaked continuously in the room as they fought. Donkey and Cat promptly fled with the girl as the gas filled the room. As they escaped, the restaurant erupted in a massive explosion. Dog and Sean narrowly escaped the blast, leading to their final showdown. Dog and Sean locked eyes and simultaneously reached for their guns. Sean immediately drew his gun and started shooting. However, he forgot that Dog's throwing knives were faster and more accurate. And so, the largest gang in Bremen town was eliminated. Laughter and joy returned to the town. Dog, Cat, and Donkey stayed behind. Finally, they found a home of their own. In a secluded mountain village, all children must start working at the age of 17. Maria has just turned 17. She longs for the rain in the sky, believing it can cleanse dirty and ugly existences. The village's only teacher, Daniel, has always harbored a secret admiration for her. Each time he thinks of Maria marrying one of the ignorant villagers after coming of age, he feels immense anguish. Maria's grandmother, Elsie, is the matriarch of the village. She prohibits the villagers from interacting with the outside world, fearing that its worldly ways will corrupt the villagers' simple hearts. In Elsie's eyes, the women in the village need not be educated. As long as they can read a calendar and count the furrows in the farmland, they are ready for marriage and childbearing. Her granddaughter Maria is no exception, and Elsie has already picked out a husband for her, a fellow villager named Lucas, who is physically strong and owns over 30 sheep. Maria remains unusually calm about this arrangement. As for her, marrying sooner or later makes no difference. To her, all men are the same. There's no distinction. The women in the village have always been this way, with no say in their destiny. However, one day, a traveler arrives in the village. He seeks shelter for a night at Daniel's home, but Daniel deems him a beggar and turns him away. The man claims to be a world wanderer, not a beggar, and as a token of gratitude, he gives Daniel a book. Upon opening it, Daniel is shocked. The book depicts a couple dressed in splendid attire, their relationship filled with love. But such things are abhorred in this closed-off village, and are strictly prohibited. Yet, to the traveler, this is a precious item celebrating love and freedom. The next day, Daniel's worst fears materialized. Maria and Lucas arrived together at the classroom, a sight that deeply saddened Daniel. After school, he asked Maria to stay behind. Daniel cautioned her that marrying at her age was too early, but Maria shrugged it off, as her grandmother was grooming her to take over, and she planned to follow in her grandmother's footsteps. As for whom she would marry, she didn't care. Daniel, frantic upon hearing her words, decided to show Maria the book left by the traveler, and told her, "The world is vast, beyond imagination." As Maria flipped through the pages, a single glance was all it took. She was captivated. Seeing the flush on her face, Daniel questioned the correctness of his actions, but felt it was the only way to possibly prevent her marriage. Following this incident, Maria's attitude began to shift. She informed her grandmother that she wanted to continue her studies at school and wasn't ready for marriage so soon. That evening, Elsie invited Lucas' family for dinner to discuss Maria and Lucas's marriage. But during this time, Maria continuously humiliated Lucas with her words. Helpless, Elsie had no choice but to postpone the wedding plans. In the days that followed, Maria constantly pestered Daniel to see the book, and Daniel found himself unable to resist her requests. However, Maria wanted to take the book home to read, which made Daniel realize that if Elsie found out, they would face severe consequences. Therefore, he firmly refused her request. Maria wanted to know why Daniel had the book. At this point, Daniel came up with a cunning idea. He told Maria that if she married him, he would reveal the origin of the book. To Daniel's surprise, Maria quickly agreed. As to her, the identity of her future spouse was inconsequential. Subsequently, Daniel disclosed the traveler's story to Maria. Piquing her interest in the mysterious figure, she expressed a desire to meet him. And Daniel proposed that if Maria could convince Elsie to approve of their marriage, he would take her to meet the traveler. In fact, Traveler has long been imprisoned by Daniel. Every day, Daniel would come to demand things from him. The flute was the traveler's last possession, but Daniel saw no value in the broken instrument. The traveler mocked him, saying that as the village's only teacher, Daniel didn't even know what music was. The traveler explained that music is a sound that brings joy to the soul. Daniel, skeptical, decided to come back the next evening to listen to what the traveler called music, needing to first confirm Maria's marriage. The next day, Maria brought bad news. She couldn't persuade Elsie. Disappointed, Daniel vowed not to let Maria see the traveler, but Maria embraced Daniel directly and indicated that they could engage in activities that couples do. Tears of excitement welled up in Daniel's eyes. A few minutes later, contented, Daniel decided to fulfill his promise, but the traveler in the cellar was gone. Daniel is afraid that Maria will expose him. Knelt down in fear, apologizing and offering the book. Maria scorned Daniel's dirty behavior, but in the end, she still managed to say thank you. From then on, Maria often heard beautiful sounds in the dead of night. These sounds brought her immense comfort, much like the painting in the book, filling her with peace. However, not only she, but Elsie too heard these sounds. To them, the noise was deafening. Elsie thought it over and concluded that an unwelcome guest must have arrived in the village. At that moment, Daniel found Elsie and revealed everything that had happened. They rushed to find Maria, but she was nowhere to be found. Daniel deeply regretted his actions, convinced that the traveler's flute music had enchanted Maria. Little did they know, at that moment, Maria was stepping into a colorful dream, striding towards the vast world she had yearned for. Maria finally met the traveler in this beautiful and sacred moonlight. Maria also finally understood why Elsie wanted to seal off the entire village, because the outside world's elements could empty out each pulsating, fervent heart in the village. At this moment, Maria sought more beauty from the traveler, but he warned her that the outside world also harbors terrifying and ugly things. Nevertheless, Maria didn't care. She longed for freedom. The next instant, the traveler unveiled his cloak, revealing the colorful world outside to Maria. She was deeply captivated, completely disregarding Daniel's warnings. Suddenly, a burst of golden light erupted, as Maria finally merged into the world of freedom she had longed for. From then on, Maria donned the traveler's clothes, and began to pass on the world's beautiful things to the other children. This anime adaptation is based on the fairy tales by the Brothers Grimm, including 6 tales with dark elements that reveal the dark side of human desires. In this video, 2 of the stories featured are the Musicians of Bremen and the Pied Piper of Hamelin. If you enjoy this video, please give it a like. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.